All right, here we go. This is from the animal adaptations book that we're reading for science. And there is a video. I hope that you guys make sure you watch it. It's a great video. It talks a lot about adaptations. It gives you some great vocabulary and information that's worth having. I also have my science journal under this so I can do my questions and thoughts about science. Rainforests get about 200 centimeters of rain every year. To deal with this heavy rain, some plants have leaf shapes that let rain roll off easily. Their leaves have sharp points called drip tips. I did not know that's what they were called. This adaptation makes the water run to the tips of the leaves, then the water drops to the ground. Drip tips help plants shed water quickly. Though there is not much water in the desert, there is plenty of sunshine. The desert plants below has adaptations that protect it from too much light and heat. It grows mostly underground where it is cooler, but the plant must get sunlight to make food, so the tips of its leaves poke through the soil. They have clear windows to let in light, and they show you, like in this picture, the little like fuzzy things. Not very easy to see. You need to watch that video. It's very fascinating. In the rainforest, trees grow tall and spread their leaves. The leaves form a thick layer at the top of the trunk where they can get sunlight. But this makes it very shady for plants underneath. Vines called lianas have adaptations. I think that's lianas. I don't know. Have adaptations that help them get sunlight they need. Lianas climb the tallest trees to reach the sunlight above them. So the vines climb the trees to get light because everything's so shaded in the forest. Plants cannot see or hear, but they can still sense change in their environment. Chemicals in a plant cells react to change in light, moisture, and temperature around the plant. Depending on these conditions, the chemicals may signal the plant to grow quickly or slowly. Chemicals also tell the plant when to make flowers. Oh, interesting. Animal physical adaptations. Plants make their own food, but animals have to hunt for their food. Over millions of years, animal species have changed in order to find food more easily. Other changes protect these animals from other animals that hunt them. The giraffe's neck is a good example. Giraffes born with longer necks could reach higher into trees and get more food than giraffes with shorter necks. They could also see predators coming. The giraffes with long necks were more likely to survive and have babies than giraffes with shorter necks. Soon, more giraffes were born with long necks. The giraffe's neck is a change to its body, or a physical adaptation. All animals have physical adaptations that help them survive. Giraffes use their long necks to reach food. Another example of an animal with physical adaptations is the camel. Camels live in deserts that have many sandstorms. The blowing sands make it hard to see. Camels have an extra set of eyelids that are see-through. What? These special eyelids protect camels' eyes from the stinging sands so they can keep moving, find food, and avoid predators. The camel's eye has a clear eyelid. I did not know that. That's crazy. Before we had vehicles that could travel over sand, people used camels to get around. With their transparent eyelids and long legs, camels were well adapted for traveling in the desert. Camels carried goods across desert sands in long lines called caravans. This is why the camel's nickname is Ship of the Desert. Huh. Look at this next page up. Australia's koala bears are also well adapted to their environment. They spend a lot of time in eucalyptus trees eating the leaves. To help them grab bunches and climb, their toes have big gaps between them. I wouldn't say they're huge, but the giraffe's neck, the camel's eyelids, and the koala bear's toes are physical adaptations. These adaptations are inherited features. They are passed down from the parents to offspring. Okay, and this is the most, so I'm going to put this in my notes, but this is really important. So we were just talking about physical adaptations, and then there's going to be behavioral, so how an animal acts. All animals have adaptations in their behavior as well as their body. Behavior is a way an animal acts and reacts to its environment. A basic inherited behavior is a reflex, such as a frog jumping when it's touched. A reflex is something an animal does without thinking about it. So you go to touch one and it's going to go away before you get to it. Instinct is another kind of inherited behavior. A sea turtle digs a hole in the sand to lay its eggs because of instinct. Birds fly south in the winter because of instinct. The animals act in the same way each time the same thing happens to them. Animals learn some behaviors by being taught. For example, you can train a dog to obey commands. Birds can teach their babies new songs. What? I'm sure they can. Male peacocks display their tails to attract females. Some behaviors help animals attract a mate. For example, a male peacock spreads out its colorful tail feathers to get the attention of a female peacock. Some behaviors keep animals safe from other animals that hunt them. Many animals, such as flamingos and zebras, live and move in large groups. Rabbits live in underground burrows so they can hide from predators. Some animal behaviors puzzle scientists. They don't know if the behavior was inherited at birth or learned later in life. A pufferfish inflates its body to look bigger to its predators. A group of scientists wanted to find out if birds know songs when they are born or if they learn them later from their parents. They studied the songs of birds that grew up in a group with parents. These bird songs sounded just like their parents' songs. The scientists also listened to the songs of birds. Could you imagine getting paid to do that? This is a job. I needed that job. The scientists also listened to the songs of birds that lived on their own. These birds knew how to sing, but their songs were simpler than the songs of their parents. Birds sing simple songs by instinct, but they learn complex songs from other birds. The scientists decided that birds inherit the ability to urge to sing, but young birds can learn complex songs by listening to older birds. Many behavioral adaptations are like bird songs. The adaptations are partly inherited from parents and partly learned. All right, well, number one, most importantly, week 8. We do my other notes for the sciences right here. The adaptations, I have to stick it in here. Oopsie. Left my journal somewhere else. So, week 8, day 2. Adaptations. And we're going to spell it right because it's on the cover of the book. Adaptations. Underline the title. And number 1, studying birds' songs to see if they are learned or inherited. I'm going to make sure I spell that right because it's not a word I spell very often. Inherited. Is a job for scientists. exclamation point. That is a fact. Capital and exclamation point. +2. Number 2. Camels have an extra eyelid to help see with all the sand blowing. Period. Capital. +2. Now, this part I'm actually going to get 4 points for because I'm going to put a T right here. And I'm going to put, on this side, I'm going to put physical, H-Y, oops, P-H-Y-S-I-C-A-L, physical adaptations and behavioral. So, adaptations. Okay, so physical adaptations and a behavioral adaptation. So they were talking about a physical one, giraffes with longer necks get more food. A behavioral adaptation, like they were talking about, is a frog jumping to get away. Or actually the thing that I liked a little bit better than that behavioral adaptation was where they talked about the animals live in groups. The other one is animals living underground, because that's a behavioral. If you live underground, lean underground. I'm going to put the one thing that I learned, I didn't know that they had the leaves. What did they call them? A drip tip? Drip tip on leaves to help water fall off. So I get 2 points for each of these because these are each a fact. But I wanted to show that the difference between the physical adaptations and the behavioral. So I'm going to put +2 for this fact, +2 for that fact. I'm going to circle drip tip, and I'm going to put quotation marks because that's actually what they call it. I didn't make it up. +2 for that fact, +2 for animals live in groups as a behavioral, and animals live underground as a behavioral. So I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Holy smokes. I'm a rock star. All right. Good for science today.